Hello peaches, so today, I don't know why I'm talking quietly, it's just because I'm not at home and filming and it's like weird. Anyway, I'm at my mom's house, we're just visiting, and yeah, I had time to film a video, so I'm sitting in front of her door here because that's the best background and the best lighting and everything, and I'm filming on my phone because I didn't bring my camera, I didn't think about that, so yeah. Just chilling. If you hear anything in the background, James is watching something on the TV, some kid show, Word Party on Netflix. It's like, yeah, top quality television. So that's the thing on, I think it's Reddit or something that originally made it, or I don't know. Someone made this, and I'm going to put it in here, the picture here. This is the most disturbing movies top list. So basically it has 8 layers or 8 levels, and each level have like several movies on it, as you can see, and the further down you get on the tiers, the more disturbing it gets, and as you can see, the first 2 layers is like movies that a lot of people have watched. It's like general regular horror movies, but then already on level 3 or tier 3, it's kind of there where it's like hardcore horror movie fans have watched it, but like not like a lot of normal people, and then it just gets worse and worse. So because I apparently hate myself and my own mental well-being, I decided to watch these movies. So I'm a huge horror fan, I love horror movies, so I have watched a lot of these on the first 2 tiers. I watched pretty much all of them before doing this, so obviously I didn't need to watch them again. And the thing about this is also that there are some of the movies on the last few tiers, like most of the movies on the last 2 or 3, I think it is, you can't watch. Like, you can't find them anywhere. I'm usually really good at finding movies and watch them online, but I could not find the last ones. And I think I read somewhere that like you can only watch them if you pay for it, because it's like really extreme. So it's like, and I don't want to do that. Also because I heard that some of the last movies, I mean, none of them are real stuff, as far as people know, but some of the last movies are still made of people who are absolutely disgustingly sick. So the rule I made for this is I do not want to pay for any of this because I don't want to support these people. Well, except for the first like 3 or 4 tiers, of course, because that's just, well, not just, it's still pretty fucked up on 3 and 4, but yeah, it's more normal horror movies. But I did watch as many as I could, and as many as I could find, which is quite a lot. Hold on, I just have to put on some more Netflix for James. I'm back, and I found a giant cat. Oh, he's so big, and he got thumbs. Look at his little thumb. It's so cute. Yeah, I know. I really need this cuteness before getting into this horrible things. So, a few things before I get into this. Just to give you guys an idea about how I rate this and how I feel about these kind of things and what my triggers are and stuff like that. So, my triggers, or like the things I find most disturbing, no matter what, something with children. Especially if it's like sexual or something. I can't. I was abused as a child. And I am a mother of a beautiful son. He's almost 1.5 years old. So whenever I see something with children, either sexual especially, but also just children getting hurt, I cannot. I can't. I can't. And then a lot of people automatically think that gore equals disturbing. Personally, I don't see that. I don't like gore. I don't like gore movies and stuff. I'm not squirmish, so it's not like, ew, I don't like it that way. Not really. I can watch it. It doesn't affect me. It doesn't disturb me in its own. Like, if someone cuts open a person and they're like screaming at the same time and stuff like that, then obviously that is not fun. That is kind of disturbing. But gore itself, like close up of some gore, it doesn't really affect me. It's just kind of gross. It's not disturbing to me. So these movies will not be rated on how gorish they are. And then something that I'm probably gonna get hate for, dead animals. Yeah, it doesn't do anything for me. It's not disturbing. I'm not a vegan or anything. I eat a lot of meat. I know that you have to kill animals to get meat, and I know they're not always being treated the best, which is obviously not good. Obviously, yeah. But watching a movie where an animal dies doesn't affect me that much, unless it's a cat that is like a pet. Dogs doesn't affect me, but I don't like dogs. I hate dogs. I think they're so annoying. So it doesn't affect me, even though that's usually like the go-to. Like, people cannot stand dogs dying in movies. But for me, it's cats. Especially if they have been like a pet throughout the movie, and then they get killed. That is not fun. I cannot that. But just in general, like, animals getting killed, it's not really, it doesn't affect me. It's not disturbing. It's sad, but not disturbing. Hi, sorry if the camera looks kind of different, but I'm saying this in the future. Just want to say, spoiler alert and trigger warning. I'm going to be spoiling a lot of these movies, obviously, and there will also obviously be some triggering things in here. Triggering things in every kind of way. So if you have any sort of trigger, don't watch this. And I'm just going to put in here, this is my rating system. Very professional. So at the top here we have not disturbing, then we have slightly disturbing, then we have somewhat disturbing, definitely disturbing, and kill me please. And then we have an extra one here that is, what the fuck, this is just funny. So yeah, it goes from not disturbing at all to like really fuck my life. And then the last one, extra one, is just like, because I had to give a few of them that, because honestly there's some of them where it's just like, this is so far from disturbing that it's just hilariously funny. And maybe I'm just fucked up. I don't know. But yeah, so that is the rating system. I also I'll put it down in the description down below, and I will put it with all the movies. So you can just get an idea if you scroll down in the comments or in the description. I don't know yet where I put it. But if you scroll down, you can see already now my ratings for all the movies that I have been able to watch and find. But now I'm just going to get into it. I'm not going to talk in detail about every movie because then it will be a very long video. But I'm just going to, some of them I might talk a little bit about and, you know, just give a general idea of them. So let's get into this. First here is Friday the 13th, The Conjuring, The Ring, Scream, Insidious, The Grudge, Annabelle, Child's Play, and A Nightmare on Elm Street. All of them I have given a thumbs down, not disturbing, because it's just regular horror movies. And as I said, I'm a huge horror fan, so these does not disturb me. I know if someone doesn't like horror movies, some of these might be a little bit disturbing, or a lot disturbing maybe even. But these are movies I watched since I was wearing a diaper. Alright, moving on to tier number 2. It is here. We have Tusk, The Hills Have Eyes, Midsommar, I think it's pronounced. I'm Danish, not Swedish, but I like to flex. So, yeah, Midsommar. The Human Centipede, Saw, House of a Thousand Corpses, and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So here I'm just gonna go quickly into all of them. Well, most of them. Yeah, all of them. Yeah. Tusk, I almost gave it a laughing emoji. Almost. I was like, so yeah, it has a thumbs down, but a small laughing emoji it could also have. That is just hilarious. It's so dumb. And yes, it's kind of disturbing, like the thought of a man turning another man into a walrus. It's a hard word to say for me. Walrus. That's disturbing. And the end and everything where it's just like, yeah, I think it was the costume and the makeup and everything that just made it just like, yeah. And also because a walrus, again, I can say it, of all animals, like, it's just very random, very silly. I don't know, even though it's one of those things, like, especially on TikTok, people are like, oh my god, this movie is fucked up. Like, not that bad. Hej! Vil du ikke se mere? Wallah! Mor, kom her, Oscar. Hi! James is here with his cow. Alright, so he doesn't want to watch more Netflix. He just wants to sit here. Yeah. So, The Hills Have Eyes, I have given a slightly disturbing. And that is because I watched both of them. There's the original one from the 70s, and then there's a remake from, like, 2000s, some point. And It's slightly disturbing, and the only reason for that is in the remake. It's not that bad in the original, if it's even there. I can't even remember because I didn't think the original was that good, and the remake wasn't good either. But it just disturbed me a little bit. But there's a scene where they're in this camping trailer thing, auto camper, and these people from the hills, the freaky people, they come in this auto camper and they rape one of them. And that is, in itself pretty disturbing. Like, I wouldn't, if it was just that, I wouldn't have given it slightly disturbing because, to some people it's disturbing. It's not that disturbing for me. But the thing that makes it disturbing is that there's a baby crying while all this happens. Nothing happens to the baby at all. The baby survives, even the end. Like, it's one of the survivors and all happy and she's really cute. And nothing happens to her in the scene either. She's just laying in her crib. So I'm not really sure why, but it was just like watching someone getting raped while you hear a baby crying is like, I don't know, there was something in my brain that was just like, nope, I cannot do this. And the baby just keeps crying and like, I can't. So that one little scene makes it slightly disturbing. But the rest of it is not. Like, it's not, I didn't think it was a good movie. I'm sorry. I know it's like a horror classic. Then we have Midsommar. I get that slightly disturbing because I think it, the overall feeling and everything, especially the ending, is like, it gives you that slightly disturbed feeling, even though the things in itself is not like classic disturbing things. I don't know. And then it's also just like one of my new favorite movies of all time. I love it. I think it's so cool. So yeah, that gets slightly disturbing, but also because it's so good and you get sucked into that feeling and everything. It's brilliant. Very good movie. Then we have The Human Centipede. This is only the first one. This also gets slightly disturbing, and it's just, the whole thing about it. It's more gross than disturbing, but it's definitely a little bit disturbing, slightly. Then we have Saw, and these are just all the Saw movies as far as I can understand. I've not watched all of them. I watched the first one, and I watched some of the second one when I was like, I don't know, 12, 11 or something, because my brother really liked those movies. Not disturbing. I do not like Saw. I hate Saw. I don't think it's good horror movies. I'm not saying you're not a real horror fan if you do like Saw. So I'm still sitting with this cow. It's kind of cute. Hi, vad gör du här? He's back. So yeah, I know a lot of horror fans like that movie. It's just really not the kind of horror that I like. Nine. Then we have House of Thousand Corpses. Again, not disturbing. Not much to say about that. And then Texas Chainsaw Massacre, not disturbing either. I love that movie, especially the original one. Original, first one. Really good, not disturbing at all. So yeah, moving on to tier 3. From tier 2 to tier 3, I think there's like a big jump there. I think it's like, I think it's like kind of extreme. But yeah, let's go into it. There is actually a few of these that I have rated as not disturbing at all. But yeah, I don't know. So tier 3 is this one here. It is Martyrs. Human Centipede 2, Cannibal, Holocaust, Salo, Shoujo, Tsubaki, a Serbian film, The House That Jack Built, Suicide Club, Tetsuo, The Iron Man, and Pink Flamingo. So Martyrs is one that I heard a lot of people is like, that is one of the most disturbing things I've ever seen. And here I'm talking about the original French one, because there's also an American remake. Of course there is. Americans has to ruin everything. But yeah, this is the original French one, which is supposed to be the most fucked up. I don't know, not disturbing. I didn't like it's definitely a horror movie and it's definitely fucked up, but there's a difference between being fucked up and being disturbing. Disturbing is like a feeling you get inside, it's so hard to describe, and it's really different from person to person what gives you that feeling. But yeah, it's just a feeling inside, and I did not get that with this one. Because usually, like, someone being beat up, even though it's extreme, and someone being tortured like that, it's not like, it doesn't give me that disturbing feeling. It was a alright movie. I might see it again someday, because it was just alright, kind of horror movie, I guess. Not disturbing at all, though. Then we have The Human Centipede 2, and I gave that a definitely disturbing. This is the first higher one. This is because it's just the whole thing, like the whole movie, the way it's filmed, the way it's made, the lead character, he's like just disturbing in himself. He's such a great actor. And then especially the scenes where, well, there's a scene where the human centipede, you know, he has like a bunch of people in it already. And then he uses like barbed wire, I think it is, as a cock ring. And while wearing that, he rapes the back end, like the very last person of the human centipede. It's stuff like that just like, no. And he masturbates with sandpaper, and it's like, that is disturbing. That gave me that kind of feeling on the inside. So yeah, that is definitely disturbing. Then we have Cannibal Holocaust, and I gave that slightly disturbing. But yeah, it is slightly disturbing. It does have a few moments, but in general, not that disturbing. Not like super bad. Tag! We have a very special guest star in this episode. Sounds good. Then we have Salo, and I gave that somewhat disturbing. Almost the entire movie, not that disturbing. Like, not, I would give that a not disturbing. But the last like 10 minutes or 5 minutes even, like, that is really disturbing. And of course it gets more and more gross, and there's a bunch of stuff with like poop and everything. I don't think that's disturbing, it's just disgusting. But the end, like the last 5-10 minutes or something, is just, that is enough to bring this up. Otherwise, like, if it wasn't for those last 5-10 minutes, it would have a not disturbing rate, in my opinion. Then we have Shoujo Tsubaki, and I give that a slightly disturbing. And the reason for that is that, you know, it is a kid and everything that's like the main character. So obviously that is one of my triggers. But it's animated. It's an anime, and that just kills everything for me. Like, I do not get disturbed by like drawing, by like anime, cartoons, artwork, stuff like that. That doesn't disturb me. So that really took it down. But because it is about those subjects that normally disturbs me, then I gave it a slightly disturbing, because the idea of it still like gave me a tiny bit of that feeling once in a while. But yeah, the animation part of it just ruined it. It made it like not disturbing for me. Then we have a Serbian film. This rating is fuck my life times as many as I can type, because holy fuck. It is my triggers. It has something to do with kids several times. Like, there's a lot of the movie that's like just not disturbing. It's like porn, and some more extreme, of course, but there are 2 scenes in particular, and one of them is like extremely fucked up. The ending obviously triggers me, because he, you know, the main character is raping someone for porn, but they're covered up so you can't see who they are. But then when he's done, he sees that it's his son. It's his son who's like 4 or 5 years old, and he's dead, and he's just raped his dead son. But the scene that fucks me up the most, I think if you watch this, you will already know. There's a scene where the boss of this porn company, extreme porn company thing, is showing the main character a new concept, a new kind of porn that they want to make. And he calls it newborn porn. Already there, that should give you an idea of how fucked it is. And it's actually the most fucked up thing I've ever seen. In the scene, in, you know, this movie, you see a pregnant woman who's giving birth, and there's a man who's helping give birth, like a doctor thing. And then when the baby is out, you don't see this. Thank Satan, you don't see this. But you know what's happening, and you hear the baby crying. Basically what is happening, that you luckily don't see, but you know, is that as soon as this little baby girl is born, the man rapes her. The man who just helped birth her rapes her. She literally just came out of the womb. And the cries that this little baby makes, like as I said, you don't see anything, but you see kind of the man, the back of him, and you hear the baby's cries. It goes from the normal cry that baby do when they are born to like this extremely horrible sound. And just like, I just want to throw up. That scene, that fucking scene, I cannot. So that movie, because of that scene, and also because the last scene is also pretty fucked, but at least that boy was dead when he was being raped, you know? But yeah, that movie is just like the most disturbing piece of shit I've ever seen. And the people who made it, you are fucking insane. I'm sorry, but I know it's just a movie and it's just art, but like to actually think of that and to actually do it is like, no. You have to be really fucked up to make that. So yeah, I'm sorry. Anyway, moving on. Then we have the house that Jack built. And I gave that somewhat disturbing, but only because of one scene, which is his third kill. Where basically he takes a woman and her 2 sons, who are like 5 and 7 or 7 and 9 or something, you know. Between 5 and 10 years old. I'm pretty sure of that. She takes those out to the woods and then he kills them. And just the way he kills these boys while the mom is watching, and you just see her reaction, it's just like, oh, I have a little boy, all right? I have a little bitty boy, and I cannot, just the thought of being that mother. So yeah, that definitely get somewhat disturbing, but only because of that one scene. The other ones in the entire movie were not disturbing. Then we have Suicide Club, and that got a not disturbing and a what the fuck, this is just funny. So the idea behind it is disturbing. Like, it's just a bunch of people committing suicide because of this one band. It's a Japanese movie. So the idea is fucked up. Like, a bunch of people just committing mass suicide. It's like, what? But then you watch it, and it's just like, what? It's because of the effects. They're over the top. The blood is like, it's one of those things like, are they for real? It's like when someone dies, it's not just like, you know, realistic blood. It's not like a lot of blood, but in a realistic way. Like, no, it's like squirts out everywhere. And it's just so over the top that it's just funny. Then we have Tetsuo the Iron Man. And I don't have a lot to say about that. It's a very short movie. I think it's also Japanese. And it's very old as well. Not disturbing. I don't know. I don't remember it pretty much because I just like, I don't know. It's not that good. Not disturbing. Then we have Pink Flamingo. That has a slightly disturbing. The only reason it has slightly disturbing rating is because that this was supposed, as far as I understand, this was supposed to be a funny movie. And that is fucked up. Because in this movie, there are some people who kidnap women, put them in a basement, rape them, and then they're supposed to become pregnant with this person's child, and then when they give birth to this child, they give it up for adoption, and that way they get some money because they sell this baby. And they make it as if it's funny. Like, I've heard, as far as I understood, like, from everywhere, this is supposed to be funny. That's just not funny. Like, I'm the kind of person who's like, alright, a lot of things can be funny. And I get that we all have different humor, and some have darker humor than others. But to make fun of, like, women being kidnapped and like raped and forced to give birth to a child that then will be given up for adoption is like fucked up. Like, no, you have to be extremely fucked up to make the video. And I know that the drag queen who's the main character in this video is like a really big thing, and I think he's dead, passed away or something. I don't care if he's a big name in the drag queen thing. I don't care. He's fucked up for making this video and for starring in it. And he also ate like real dog poop and like real dog poop while filming it. It's like, no, sir, you are fucked in the head. So that was tier 3, and already now it's getting quite fucked up. So now let's move on to tier 4. So on tier 4 are these movies, and these are Nekromamtik, Guinea Pig, Slaughter Vomit Dolls, Regoregitated Sacrifice, Slow Torture Puke Chamber, Life and Death of a Porno Gang, Snuff 102, August Underground, where the dead go to die. Viva la muerte. I don't know Spanish at all. Viva la muerte. Whatever. Melancholie, der Engel. I think that's German. Pretty sure it is. I also don't know German. Juvenile, crime, and philosophy of a knife. So the first one is Nekromamtik, and that has gotten a not disturbing and also, what the fuck? This is just funny. So, of course, the idea of it is fucked up. A couple who has a corpse who they just fuck a lot. Like, it's disgusting and disturbing. But, it's just funny. The ending, it's so funny. Anyway, like, you know, if the corpse that they had was made, like, realistically, I could see it being disturbing. But it's not. It looks like something you buy at Halloween, you know, a Halloween decoration. It's so poorly made, and it's just funny. And the way they're just, like, really sensual about it. And, you know, you see the woman being all like, oh, and the man being all like, yeah. And then you see the corpse just like, it's so funny. I'm sick. I'm fucked up in the head. I know that. So this guy, the main character, is obviously, like, very turned on by the whole death thing and corpses. And he's, like, very into death. So in the end, he's laying on his back with his dick out, and he takes a knife and stabs himself in the stomach while laying there. And because he's so turned on by death, his dick gets, like, super hard and aroused. And, you know, when he's stabbing himself, he ends up just, like, coming. You know, he has, like, the biggest orgasm I've ever seen. And that's the thing that just makes it funny, is, like, the amount of sperm coming out of this penis. And he's just shooting up in the air. It's just so funny. And then because he stabs himself, like, after a lot of sperm coming out, it eventually turns into blood coming out of his dick. And that's also just, it's just so ridiculous. It's not disturbing at all. It's just so dumb and so over the top and ridiculous. Like, the way, I can't. I'm sorry. It's just so funny. Then we have Guinea Pig, and this is, I cannot remember the exact name, but I'll put it here. This is actually a series of movies, but I chose to only watch one of them, which is the most disturbing one, according to the internet, because apparently they're a lot alike, as far as I understood. I give that somewhat disturbing, because it definitely is. But it's more gore than it is disturbing, I say, but it, you know, we are down on the list, so of course it is disturbing, and yeah. I don't have a lot to say about that because it's just a classic gore torture movie. Do you want some watermelon? James wants to give you some watermelon. So the next three ones, I'm gonna put them together because it is a series and they're a lot alike. It's Slaughter Vomit Dolls, Regurgitated, Sacrifice, and Slow Torture Puke Chamber. They all get a thumbs down, not disturbing. They are creepy and they are weird, but it's one of those things where it's like, it's just a bunch of random clips together, and it does have a story if you really listen, but it didn't do anything for me. It was just too much. It was trying too hard to be disturbing. It feels like that. It feels like a 13-year-old girl, like, oh my god, I'm so quirky, I'm gonna make it like a super disturbing video. I'm just like, oh, it's gonna be so disturbing. Alright, so we're having a slight change of scenery because I just took a small break to play with James and everything, and then, yeah, I just decided to film the rest here because it's easier. The next movie is Life and Death of a Porno Gang, and that has gotten slightly disturbing. It's not like something specific or anything in particular, it's just like the whole thing, you know, it's not that disturbing, but there are some scenes that, you know, makes it kind of disturbing, you know. Then we have Snuff 102. That has gotten, fuck my life. Just one, though. Just one. That is so disturbing. I can't. And the reason why it's so disturbing to me is because there's a pregnant woman in it, and I can't even, yeah. So yeah, that is definitely disturbing, just because of the pregnant woman. If it wasn't a pregnant woman, it would not be that disturbing to me, I think, but because she is pregnant and the things that are happening to her, it's like, it's fucked. I can't. So yeah, that is very disturbing. Very, very, very disturbing. Then we have August Underground, and I gave that definitely disturbing because it is. Then we have the Spanish one, Viva la muerte. I don't know. that gets a somewhat disturbing, because it is a child. But I don't think, like, again, the feel of it all and everything and the mood of it is not like super disturbing. No, a lot of these I don't really know what to talk about, and a lot of them I have a lot to say. This is one of those that I was like, I don't have a lot to say. Yeah, it's somewhat disturbing. Then we have the German one, Melancholie der Engel. Again, don't know German either. And that also gets a somewhat disturbing, because it is somewhat disturbing. It's more one of those where it's like, it feels like it's just super extreme to be super extreme, and there's a lot of it that's kind of like ridiculous, but there are definitely some scenes in there that are disturbing. So that's why it gets somewhat and not like definitely disturbing, because there are some things where it's just like, that's just dumb, you know. Then we have Philosophy of a Knife, and that is definitely disturbing. I don't know what more to say. It's just yeah, I don't like that. But it's not like super disturbing. But it is like, yeah, I would not watch that again. It gave me that feel, you know. And then we have Juvenile Crime and Where the Dead Go to Die. I could not find them anywhere, so I have not watched those, sadly. Then we have Tier 5. On those are Girl Gang 999, Ostermontag, I think it's German or something, Women's Flesh, My Red Guts, The Necro Files, The Gateaway Meat, Eccentric Psycho Cinema, My Chan's Daily Life, the movie, and The Taming of Rebecca, and Tumbling Dolls of Flesh. So let's just start with Girl Gang 999. That has a fuck my life. And I honestly, looking at it, I don't remember why. I don't remember this movie. I must have like blocked it out. I watched all of these over an amount of time, over like a few weeks, and then I'm just filming this like, I think it's been 3 weeks since I watched the last movie. So there, you know, some of the details are a little fuzzy in my head with some of these movies, and I can honestly not remember what this movie is about. So yeah, maybe that's a good thing. Because it gotta fuck my life right. So yeah, it's definitely not good. Then we have Ostermontag, which has gotten a definitely disturbing. Again, yeah, don't know what to say. It's disturbing. I think I'm gonna go through the rest like pretty quickly because I talk a lot. And the rest are obviously, we're so far down on the list that a lot of them are just like, yeah, it's disturbing. Like, what do you want me to say, you know? Then we have Women, Flesh, My Red Guts. That's a weird name. And that has also gotten a definitely disturbing, because it is. Then, however, we have The Necro Files. That has gotten a not disturbing and a laughing emoji. Because this looks like it was made by a bunch of 13-year-olds with their home video camera back in the 90s. It's just, and the acting is so poorly, like, it's not disturbing at all. It's not. It seriously looks like something I could have made when I was in middle school, and something that I did make when I was in middle school. Like, it's just, yeah, not disturbing at all. It's just funny. It's so dumb. Then we have Tumbling Doll of Flesh, and that also gets a, yeah, definitely disturbing. And then the rest of the movies on this I could not find. We are in that place now where it's getting harder and harder to find the movies. And now we're already on our way to tier number 6, which are Traces of Death, Junk Films, Faces of Death, Mondo Cane, Africa Adio, Burned in the Sand, Banned from Television, Death File Red, Black Metal Veins, Crosco the Embalmer, I'm sorry, The Dark Side of the Porn, and Archivios da Morte Saga. I don't know what that language is. But yeah, let's start with Traces of Death. That is definitely disturbing. I don't remember exactly which one of these this is, but there is some disturbing things in it. It's one of these like documentaries. It's basically just a bunch of clips, as far as I remember. Again, it's been a while since I watched them. Then we have Faces of Death, which got somewhat disturbing. Again, it's a lot like Traces of Death in the way it's made, but it's not as disturbing as Traces of Death. I think so. Then we have Mondo Cane, which gets a not disturbing. Like, we're this far down, and there are actually some that gets not disturbing. Yeah, it was not disturbing. I don't know what to say. I really don't know. Orozco the Embalmer, I don't know how to pronounce that. And that guy is definitely disturbing. This is obviously about an embalmer, and yeah. It's just, yeah. I didn't like it. It's disturbing, definitely. And then we have Black Metal Veins, which is not disturbing at all. And I know a lot of people are like, what the fuck is wrong with you? It's not disturbing. It's about a bunch of junkies. And you see them, and it's obviously, it's very sad and all that. But I don't find movies about like junkies or alcoholics and stuff like that disturbing. Because, and I know, I don't know how to say this without sounding like a complete asshole, but know that I'm not meaning it in this way. English is not my first language. Please, don't come at me. But it's hard to find it disturbing when it's something that people are doing to themselves and they are the reason why this. Again, I know these people have been through some serious trauma. I know that they did not want to do these kind of things. They did not want to get all the way out here, but they are the ones who started it, most of the time, usually. They are the ones who started putting a needle in their own arm. They are the ones who chose to start drinking beer every single day, whatever it might be. So these kind of addictions, it doesn't really do anything for me. I know it's a mental illness. I do know that. And I do know it's usually come from trauma. And they're just dealing with the best way they can. And, I feel sorry for these people. But I think it's horrible, and I think it's so sad, and I do know some alcoholics. I was abused by an alcoholic, so I also think that maybe that is, even though logically I know not all alcoholics and junkies are like that, I think there's just a part of my brain that connects alcoholics and junkies and all that, people addicted to those kind of things. I think my brain is like, fuck those people, even though I don't, again, I don't know how to explain it. I don't feel that way. I know there are so many people out there who are addicted to these things, who are very nice people, who just are in a bad place in their life, and I know that. But it's just to explain why I don't find those things disturbing in movies, because I do think that there's very, very deep part of my brain that just cannot feel bad for those kind of people, even though I do feel bad for them on the outside. But yeah. I'm so scared of getting so much hate for this, but yeah, I do feel bad for them. I hope that all alcoholics and junkies and addicts get the help that they need, and I feel so bad for them, and I know it's not their fault that they're in that place. I'm not saying that, but it's hard for me to find those kind of things disturbing. That's just what I'm saying. I find it sad. I find it horrible, and I think there's definitely something we should do about it as a society. But disturbing, no. It just can't for me. Probably because of everything I've been through, but yeah. And then the rest of the movies on this tier, I could not find either. Tier number 7 and tier number 8, I could not find any of the movies. I'm so upset. I wanted to watch at least one from every tier, but yeah, I could not find any of them. I searched and I searched and I searched. None of them. Without having to pay for it, which again, I do not want to support those kind of people who make these kind of movies. So yeah. So I'm sorry, this is kind of a clickbaity video. I don't think because I did watch every movie on the top tier list that is like possible to watch, I actually watched all the movies available on the most disturbing movies Iceberg top tier list. So that's an accomplishment. So, for the next family event thing where people always go up to me and ask, hey, what are you doing with your life right now? Like, what is going on? What are you doing? I can say this. This right here is what I'm doing. I am ruining my own mental health for the sake of entertainment, and also because I'm just curious as hell. If I didn't have a YouTube channel, or if I just didn't feel like making this video, I would still have watched these movies. Because I'm so curious. I'm so fucking curious. Like, I cannot not. Like, every time I watch a video on YouTube and someone is talking about either a movie or a clip or a video, whatever, and they're like, do not watch this. This is so disturbing. This is so uncomfortable. I watch it. I find it and I watch it and I regret it because they were right. But I'm so fucking curious. I cannot help myself. I'm that kind of person. But yeah, as I said, definitely disturbed by a lot of these movies, especially when watching them. But I'm okay. Like, now I'm like fine. There were the few days after some of the movies I was a little bit like ugh, you know, but I wasn't like depressed and I didn't go down mentally. But yeah, I do not recommend doing this, especially if you're in the position like me and you do have mental illness and some problems. Like, it's so dumb that I did this. I know, like, it's so dumb because I do have a bunch of shit in my head, a bunch of things wrong with me. So yeah, don't do this at home, kids. I did it for you, so you don't have to. Yay! That was the video. I'm sorry if it was a little bit chaotic in nature because I'm at my mom's house and there was a baby and yeah, so I'm sorry about that. But I do hope it was a good video anyway, and I hope you are entertained by my misery. Press the like button if you like this video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel as well, and thank you for watching.